And all this is thematic to also what we're hearing from the Federal Reserve as the policymakers come out after that meeting last week where they again raised interest rates by 75 basis points. We heard from Minneapolis Fed President Kashkari over the weekend giving remarks to CBS's Face the Nation. I want to read you the quote of what he said yesterday. Quote, "Whether we are technically in a recession or not doesn't change the fact that the Federal Reserve has its own work to do, and we are committed to doing it." So even though our conversation just now, Akiko, inflation, the story might be improving with the gas and oil prices, the Federal Reserve president saying for their part, look, we're not going to let up on the pedal here. That does leave on the table the possibility of they could go even more aggressive. Jay Powell said that last week. That is very much a Pandora's box when it comes to policy for the rest of the year.
Well, and Kashkari in that same interview saying that, look, it's as we kind of last week, everybody was tripping over how exactly you define a recession. At the end of the day, if consumers are feeling like we're already in a recession, that also adds into the calculation here about, what exactly that pullback looks like. It doesn't matter if the MBER is going to come out and suddenly say, yes, okay, we are officially in it. That's not really what the focus is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, inflation hasn't necessarily peaked yet.
There's no part of the Federal Reserve's function that says they're going to change policy based off of whether or not they're officially in a recession or not, right? It's not even the Fed's job to declare if they're in a recession. But either way, what was really interesting to see was that we saw the stock market rip higher after the Fed meeting last Wednesday. Perhaps it was a reading that, okay, well, the Fed chairman said at some point in the press conference, which is true, that maybe they could start cutting rates when they feel the time is appropriate. But what maybe markets miss is that we are still going to be hiking interest rates for probably the next few meetings to get to that point first. So whether or not markets are already pricing in what the terminal rate might be on the Federal Reserve's part is something that is very much an open question. But again, the story for the Fed is all about inflation. If the data shows, they're going to be data dependent, right? If the data shows inflation has not peaked, the beatings will continue until inflation goes down. That's the message from the Fed.